We've all been told that being smart is like the ultimate advantage, right? But what if I told you that's not the whole picture? What if the very thing that makes you so smart could actually be your biggest weakness? Today, we're going to dive into this really fascinating idea called the intelligence trap.
It's a really puzzling question, isn't it? I mean, you've seen it. Super brilliant people who make just questionable decisions with their money, or they get totally stuck in their careers. Meanwhile, other folks, maybe not the geniuses in the room, they just seem to cruise right along. So if being smart is supposed to be all about solving problems, why doesn't it always lead to a better life?
Okay, so this is where it starts to get a little weird, a little counterintuitive. We all assume that intelligence is this tool for, finding the right answer, for seeing the world clearly, but that's really only half the story.
And this is the real kicker. That same amazing brain power that lets you build a brilliant logical argument, well, it can also build an impenetrable fortress around a really, really bad one. In fact, the smarter you are, the better you get at convincing yourself that your mistakes aren't mistakes at all.
All right, to really see how this plays out, let's look at a super simple story. A tale of two investors. This little scenario gets right to the heart of the whole problem. Okay, so on one hand, we've got investor number one. Let's call him the intuitive. He does some basic research, trusts his gut, and buys a stock. Simple enough. But then you have investor number two, the analyst. She is incredibly smart. I mean, she leaves no stone unturned. We're talking economic reports, market forecasts, the whole 9 yards. Her decision is backed by this complex, airtight, logical case. Seems like a huge advantage, right?
So, here's the twist. Let's say both of their investments start to tank. For our first guy, the intuitive one, the path is pretty clear. Well, that didn't work. He sells, takes the loss, and moves on. But for our analyst, it's a completely different game going on in her head.
See, her mind doesn't just go, oops, I was wrong. No way. Instead, that powerful intelligence of hers kicks into a whole new gear. It starts finding reasons, explanations, stuff like, the market is just being irrational right now, or my long-term thesis is still totally sound. Her brain literally shifts from being a tool for analysis to being a tool for self-defense.
And there's actually a name for this. Psychologists call it motivated reasoning. It's this sneaky thing our brain does where the goal just quietly shifts. Instead of trying to find the truth, it starts trying to protect our existing beliefs. I mean, think about it. Admitting you made a huge mistake feels like a threat to your identity as a smart person, right? So your brain goes into overdrive to protect that image.
And this is basically the toolkit the brain uses to defend a bad idea. A really smart mind can come up with these incredibly detailed, convincing explanations. It can twist new evidence to fit the old story. It's great at cherry-picking data that supports its case and just completely ignoring anything that contradicts it. And the scariest part? The smarter you are, the better and more invisible these mental defenses become.
So, if being super smart can actually be a trap, what's the way out? How do we avoid it? Well, that brings us to the solution, what we can call the humility advantage. This, it turns out, is the real key.
And spoiler alert, the answer isn't just get smarter. We've already seen how more brain power can sometimes just give you a bigger shovel to dig yourself into a deeper hole.
Nope, the real key is something way simpler. It's a fundamental shift in how you think. And the best part is, it's accessible to absolutely everyone, no matter your IQ.
It all comes down to this. These 4 little words. I might be wrong. That's it. That's intellectual humility. It's just the willingness to entertain the possibility that your brilliant analysis, your killer conclusion, could actually be flawed. And this simple little shift is so incredibly powerful. Once you're genuinely open to the idea of being wrong, you start to see the world differently. You'll spot the red flags way earlier. And changing your mind doesn't feel like a failure anymore. It feels like learning, like adapting, and that lets you correct your mistakes so much faster. Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we build up this humility advantage? Well, it's not just some vague concept. We can actually break it down into 5 practical habits to help you steer clear of the intelligence trap.
All right, there's a lot of great stuff here, so let's walk through it. Number 1, ask disconfirming questions. That means you actively go looking for evidence that proves you wrong. It's the total opposite of what we normally do. Number 2 is huge. Separate your identity from your ideas.
Your ideas are just experiments. They're not you. So if an idea fails, that doesn't mean you're a failure. Number 3, prefer simple systems. Look, complex plans can make us feel smart, but a lot of the time they just hide our own confusion. Simple is easier to fix. 4, make reversible decisions. Basically run small tests. Learn from the real world without betting the farm. And finally, number 5, normalize being wrong. Start seeing it as a good thing. Every time you update a belief, it's not a failure, it's progress. You just leveled up.
And this, right here, really nails that first habit. Our default setting is to ask, why am I right? We're always looking for things that confirm what we already think. The big mental judo flip here is to ask the opposite. What evidence would prove me wrong? Just asking that question completely shatters that cycle of motivated reasoning we talked about.
Okay, so this brings us to the big takeaway, the ultimate skill we're trying to build. It's really about changing what we use our intelligence for in the first place. So let's just sum up the core problem one more time. Your intelligence is an amazing storyteller. It's a master at it. And the most convincing, compelling story it will ever tell you is the one about how you were right all along, even when all the facts are screaming that you weren't.
And in the end, it really boils down to this one choice. Are you going to use your intelligence like a lawyer, whose only job is to argue your case and prove you're right, no matter what? That's the trap. Or are you going to use it like a scout, whose job is to go out and map the terrain to find out what's actually true, as fast as possible? That's the real advantage.
I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the entire idea. Long-term success isn't about being the person who starts out with the perfect idea. It's about being the person who can adapt the fastest when reality throws new information at you. It's all about how quickly you can learn and adjust. So, I'm going to leave you with a final question to chew on. And honestly, it's a tough one, but it's the very first step out of that intelligence trap. So take a second and really think about it. What's one belief you hold, something you feel totally certain about, that might, just might, be wrong? Because being able to answer that question honestly, well, that's where the real learning starts.